We should do a count off.
Or say hello now.
Hi. Welcome to Three of Skeins, the
One
Crochet
week off and
podcast.
we are rusty.
A little bit. Episode 104. I'm Lisa.
I'm Chris.
Well.
Say it.
Oh, yes. Hi. Like and subscribe. Oh, and share. If you enjoyed our podcast and you think you have a friend who'll enjoy it too, share it with them.
And there will be a link in the description box for our newsletter. And if you sign up for the newsletter, you will receive a recap of each episode with all appropriate links.
I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm doing a blog series on how to put a lining in a jacket, how to add a patch pocket to whatever you care to add a patch pocket to, and how to install chain. And that's going to be on the blog, and I will have links. It's going to be a 6-part series, and it'll be going up each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for the next week or so.
And that is at knitsheet.com.
Yep, and links will be in the newsletter. Yay. Oh, and feel free to join us for Stitch on Sundays at noon Eastern. If you go to the website at knitsheet.com.
No, it's 1 Eastern.
Oh, it's 1 Eastern. I don't know what happened. We took a little break for 2 weeks and blip. Anyway, 1 Eastern.
I think she got turkey brain.
I did. I gotta tell you all about that turkey. Anyway, Chris, you've got something to show.
Okay.
That's like the world's heaviest coaster.
It is. It's weird. So I started my jacket. I'm going to tell you the truth. I started it last night because I didn't crochet at all. I decided my vacation was going to be like a vacation, except I was still in the house. So I didn't crochet. And then I was like, well, I'm not going to have anything to show now, am I? So I did a little like last minute crochet cramming. And this is what I got so far.
Well,
for the back of my jacket. Look at the little boxes. They're so cute.
That is adorable. And that was just this last night? Jeez Louise.
So I'm very happy with how it's coming out. So far it's going according to plan. However, I realized I made a tiny little mistake with the math. It's not going to be like a big deal. I'm just, I already got it fixed. But let me tell you about it. So as you see, the little area with the boxes, right? Above the box is one color and below is another color. And half of the boxes, the part that's in one color is 3 centimeters. So when I was figuring out my stripes, I wanted my stripes to be 14 centimeters. So this first stripe, I was like, okay, I'll do 11 centimeters of crochet and centimeters, right? You caught that? And then do my 3 centimeters here. And that'll give me 14 centimeters. However, what I did not realize is that my next stripe is actually going to have boxes on both sides, which means I'm going to have 3 centimeters on this side and 3 centimeters on the other side. Thankfully, I realized that before I did, a full 11 centimeters. So now I realize this section, I'm just going to have to pull that back. I'm going to have to just lessen that to 8 centimeters to leave room for the boxes on the other side. Otherwise, each stripe was going to be wider than I expected, and that would mean I'd be using more yarn than I anticipated, and it's going to cause all kinds of problems. So now I figured out so down here I did 26 rows. Up here I'll just do 20 rows and then do my little border treatment, and then this stripe, when it's done, will be my 14 centimeters. And like I said, I figured that out before I had to do any ripping out. And I'm very, very happy.
You go, girl.
So, but yeah, so the next color is going to be, so on top of this stripe, I'm wearing orange, so I'll hold it up next to me.
Hold it up.
Yeah. So up here, we're going to add this orange, and then basically it's just going to be 2 stripes of each color. So it's going to be ABC and then ABC. And Just making a rectangle, so very simple.
This yarn is from Three Bunny Designs?
Yes, so all three of these are Three Bunny Designs. And then my solid orange is Barocco Ultra Wool. And I'm using a 3.5 millimeter hook.
I like how your fabric feels.
Right? It's
Feels
nice.
really good.
I love those little boxes. I can't believe how happy they make me. Oh my gosh. So that's all that's going on so far.
So is it just gonna be all rectangular shapes?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Super simple. I'm letting the yarn be all the interest.
Yeah, it's happening. It's absolutely happening. It's shocking to me how similar this is to what you're wearing.
Yeah,
Clearly you have a preference.
Little tiny bit. But I'm so glad I bought this yarn because it's called Slutty Pumpkin and it's from Less Traveled Yarns. And she done went out of business. And if I hadn't bought her limited edition color, I'd still be mad at myself. So
You'd still be thinking about it.
I would.
Oh, I should have gotten that Slutty Pumpkin.
So yay. It's funny though because I'm not really an orange person.
Mm-hmm.
Orange is not like one of my favorite colors, but I buy almost any color yarn.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll buy yarn in colors that I don't typically buy clothes in and wear it. I don't know why yarn can convince me of any color. I don't know.
Sometimes though, the colors are so beautiful.
I do love purple, but I don't buy a lot of purple clothes. I have a ton of purple yarn, which is great because now I have more purple clothes in my closet because I made some. But you can sell me yarn in almost any color. It's the weirdest thing. So yarn got me wearing orange now.
Yeah. It's your kryptonite, girl. It's your kryptonite.
It is. But like good kryptonite.
Yes.
That makes you stronger and warmer. It's my cozy night.
I know. I went out for a walk earlier today and I sure did run and grab my little wool vest and pop on to take my walk in. Because it's not like freezing cold today. I just checked the temperature. It's like 50 degrees. But no, it's about 50. I told you it was really pleasant out. But just having that little cozy layer of wool made me very, very comfortable.
What's going on with my ball of yarn? I don't know.
You might need to reball that.
I made a bad scheme, but I'm already attached to the thing.
Oh.
And if I do that, I'll be working from the outside, and it's
never mind. It'll just have to be tangly sometimes.
Yeah, it's fine.
I feel you on that.
You talk about your thing now. While I untangle my yarn.
You got a little conundrum there. I have finished revamping my Dofuku jacket. I am going to put a picture of the original jacket into the video so you guys can see what it looked like. I discovered as I was wearing this, it looked just like the original sample, but I didn't like the fit. And you would think I would know that from seeing the sample and not being surprised when mine came out just like the sample. Wow. The oversized fit was too oversized for me, and my yarn was very soft and it just kind of kept on stretching. And I will put a picture of my finished one with me wearing it. You'll see it's just kind of hanging down. So what I did was I put a lining inside. Let me turn it inside out so you guys can see. And it's so improved the fit. I can't tell you how pleased I am with how the jacket fits now. So here it is, turned inside out so you can see the entire lining. And I will make sure and put some pictures of the lining inside in the video too. How's it looking, Chris?
There you go.
There
now
we
you
go.
can't see either of us, but you can see the jacket.
So how I installed this lining was I cut rectangles out of my fabric and I quilted each rectangle to each section of the jacket separately. So I had two fronts and a back and I didn't disassemble the jacket. That notion caused a lot of distress in a lot of places. And I did disassemble it because I had picked up the edging and I didn't want to have to rip out the edging and knit it again. So the major pieces of the jacket, I just kind of sewed the lining to it. And I started from the center of each piece, and I left about 2.5 inches at each edge completely unsewn. So that part is still a little loose. And then as I finished quilting in each piece, I overlapped front over back and just did a flat fell seam to make a nice neat. Because you were worried about that when you saw it. You were like, hey, were you planning to close that up?
So you did that on the machine, or you ended up doing it by hand?
I did ended up doing it by hand. That was easier. It was easier to do it by hand because it would have been hard.
I'm not really sure how you were going to hold that under the machine.
Yeah.
I was all kinds of dubious about this project. I really was. I'm glad it turned out well.
No stitching shows through on the front. And that's the other advantage of doing it by hand. And it's still kind of flexible, but the fabric is no longer stretchy like a knit fabric would be. But it still flexes and moves with me, and it supports the jacket so nicely. I'm going to put in a picture of me wearing it so you guys can see. It just sits better, it hangs better, it doesn't fall off my shoulders anymore. Now, what got a little complicated was the sleeves, because a sleeve is a tube. So I did end up having to undo the seam of the sleeve. And it went great on one sleeve and went terribly on the other.
Ain't that the way?
It's always the way. I couldn't get the other sleeve unraveled. I ended up cutting a few stitches. I did. I cut a few stitches. And what? I took a crochet hook and did some single crochet along the edge.
Oh my God.
To capture those stitches so they wouldn't unravel too badly on me. And I just restored that edge with crochet. So then I was able to lay the sleeve out flat, bless you, and I will put a picture of the slightly flattened sleeve. And I did the same procedure on the sleeve. I quilted the lining fabric to the sleeve. And you can see my quilting lines on the inside of the sleeve. So now, once everything was quilted, right, and I did the quilting by hand, and I'll put a little picture in of how that went. That was actually the easy part because it was just a running stitch. So it actually went fairly quickly and easily considering. So now once all the pieces had lining on them and I had lots of fabric overlapping, I cut off the excess fabric and then I just folded and hemmed all the edges. So now I have a completely finished inside. So now, I'm feeling myself. I'm like, my jacket's lined. I can't stop now, right? I'm all caught up in this mess. The mission did creep. I decided I was going to add a secret interior pocket to my jacket, which is so secret. I'm holding it up now and it's hard to see because I did it in the same fabric. I wanted something that would be big enough to hold my cell phone.
So did you didn't attach the pocket to that piece before you attached the lining to the jacket?
No, that would have been the sensible way to do it.
Okay.
Actually, I don't even think I would have done it that way anyway because I still had to quilt it and I wouldn't be able to quilt it if the pocket was there.
Okay.
If it wasn't a quilted lining, attaching the pocket first would have been a very wise thing to do. So my pocket is also lined. And I just did a fun little contrast fabric for the inside of the pocket, just for fun. And I'll put a good picture of that on there. If you can see, actually.
But before you had a lining, this could not have held the weight of a cell phone.
Absolutely not. It was never going to hold the weight of the cell phone. And I couldn't have put a pocket, because I thought about adding a pocket to it, but when I saw how soft and unstructured my fabric was in the knitting, I didn't add a pocket. But now, I have a pocket that I can put my whole hand in and leave my cell phone or my glasses or whatever in there. Now, once I had that pocket, and once you have a pocket, you're absolutely going to put things in it. I wanted to do something that would counterbalance the weight of the phone and have the jacket sit down, because you know it would pull the front of the jacket forward. So the last modification I did on the jacket was I got some chain. The chain is brass chain. It's ever so slightly plated in, you know, some sort of gold tone metal. Okay, there we go. Now I'm centered. It's a 1/4 inch chain, and I sewed that to the hem of the back of the jacket. The back of the jacket sits down so nicely now. I love it. And
now, was that also Chanel technique?
That's also Chanel technique. So first I basted the chain on, and then I got some embroidery thread and did a chain stitch through the chain. And that's how I, you know, finally attached that permanently to the inside of the jacket. And that little bit of extra weight just counterbalances the weight of what's in my pocket. Now, Chanel did that because her buttons were often quite heavy, and it would also pull the front of the jackets forward. So they put a chain weight on the back of their jackets. If I needed more weight, I could just put another row of chain if I wanted, or get a heavier chain to begin with. But I am
what were their buttons made out of? Why are they so heavy?
Sometimes they made them themselves, or they, you know, it could be made out of stone or metal, anything. And they often did buttons where they made them out of fabric that was heavily embellished with trim that matched the rest of the jacket. So they could get a little heavy, especially when there's like 3 or 4 of them down the front of the jacket. And that way the back of your jacket won't rise up. It's something you can do to any jacket that you find that is having that issue. Just weight the hem, either all the way around or just in the back. And that should pull it down, because it sits so straight. And I will have a picture of the back sitting straight like a little soldier. Just like, I'm so happy with it. But here she is. And even when I'm not in her, she just holds her shape.
It's like a whole different jacket now.
It is. It sits different. It fits different. So let me give you guys some caveats about this. So first caveat, plan ahead. If you think you're going to line something, do it before you sew it together. It's just going to be so much easier. This is not the only way to put in a lining. The more typical kind of lining is called a bag lining, where you make a little duplicate of the thing and then you put it in whole. But I did this style of lining specifically because I wanted to support the fabric that I had hand knit. Also, it was just there was just too much ease for my real taste. And I'm gonna flash that picture of the original and my original version of it too, and you'll just see it's just too big and droopy. Now, what this style of lining does too, it's gonna suck your garment in. So you need to plan extra ease so that it will actually fit you when you're done putting in the lining. Mine was too big. I wanted to make it smaller, and I knew this process would make it smaller. It can take it down up to a full size. So it's just something to be aware of. But otherwise, I couldn't be happier. That's my dofuku. What else you got, Chris?
As usual, when I watch television, I end up taking pictures of stuff that people are wearing because I get like all inspired and stuff. So I took a few pictures and we will pop them onto the screen. But I just wanted to show you guys some of the stuff I've seen in things I've been watching lately. So first, I watched this show, I think it's ABC, Not Dead Yet. It's very cute, very funny little silly sitcom about this woman who writes obituaries, and while she's working on an obituary, she interacts with the ghosts of the person she's writing about. But there's a scene where she's wearing this scarf, and I completely fell for the scarf. It's like an infinity scarf, so
Yeah.
it loops around, and that's a style of scarf that I like. And are we gonna hold it up, or are we just gonna drop a picture?
We'll just drop a picture.
Okay.
But I wanted you to be able to see it so you can talk about it.
Yeah, so it's basically like a third of it is a solid gray, and then the other 2/3 is yellow and white stripes, and it's like a chunkier yarn, but not like super chunky. It's still like something that looks like it has a fairly like tight twist, even though it's a heavier yarn, and I love it. And the whole thing is ribbed, and I think I have to make one. And it got me thinking about the fact that I don't make a lot of accessories. I tend to focus a lot on garments, and now I'm like, I need to get on my accessory game, because I've been wearing the leg warmers I made last year, and they are really cozy, and I really like them. And I'm like,
Your Wednesday inspired one?
Yes, I need, you need to make some more leg warmers. That's a great thing to do with, small amounts of yarn. And they're actually really warm.
And I call you leg warmers for nothing.
Right? So this scarf inspired me to make some more accessories. So this top, now I was watching the news, and so there's a bit of a chyron covering some of this, but it looks like a little sweater or a t-shirt, but it's just horizontal stripes in what looks like a handful. It looks like maybe a handful of different stitches, possibly, or maybe it's just because they use different yarn, because I don't think that's actually crochet.
Oh,
I think that's machine knit, but meant to mimic crochet a little bit. But it's just cute. It's just that little bit of touch of randomness that I like, but not too chaotic. And it's just like, it looks like it's probably a t-shirt. It's got just a round neckline. And I saw it and I was just like, yep.
That could be a great way to use up small bits of yarn too.
Like if I had an advent, because I never buy yarn advents, and this year I am feeling the FOMO hard. Like I should have gotten a yarn advent, because you know what? It's hard to justify it in July when most people are putting their advents out, but then November rolls around and you're
like, doggone it,
right? So I might have to. You know who does an advent? I like Rose.
Yeah.
There's a yarn store right here
Park.
called Yarn Shop at Alma Park. She does a really good advent, and I might have to bite the bullet, because she always does a pre-sale where it's like a little bit less, and I might have to buy an advent next year. But this top is not like, I don't know if it's that brand. There's this brand called Kuji that did these very eclectic types of tops. This was a Korean movie I was watching, and this actor is actually Ma Dun-seok, or sometimes he goes by Don Lee. I don't know which name he's using when. I don't know if Don Lee was the older name or the newer name, but anyway, I really like him though. He's a lot of fun on camera. But this is just one of those tops that has different patterns happening so each stripe is also like a slightly different texture, and it's very irregular. And I don't think like this. It's hard for me to imagine doing like those different shapes and things within those stripes, because some of them are wider, some of them are narrower, some of them have different patterning happening. But I like the kind of mostly monochromatic feel of this. So it's all in white and light blue and light green. So even though the patterning could be a little chaotic, and that was what I didn't like about the Kuji sweaters, to me, they read very, very chaotic because they had so many colors and so many textures, and it was a whole lot for me. I feel like this is kind of like a toned down version of that, and I really like it. I don't know how exactly I would do this. This is one of those things where you maybe do different stitches with different textures and stuff.
Yeah. And a self-striping yarn, so you keep consistency of color, and then you can add whatever textures you like.
Maybe, but it's just it's a polo. I would probably do a t-shirt version of it, but I like it. And I swear sometimes it's really annoying, because sometimes I was into this movie. I was really like enjoying
but then you got stopped.
the movie.
Wait a minute.
And it's like, but hold on. We gotta talk about this top he's wearing. So yeah. So what you're seeing at the bottom of the picture is actually captions because it was in Korean. But yeah, those are my and what you may not have noticed is that all of them have stripes.
Yeah.
For some reason, stripes was just jumping out at me.
Tuned to stripes right now.
So I mean, I'm doing a wide stripe, and all of those have like narrower stripes, but for some reason, I'm having a stripe moment. Does that happen to you guys? Where it's just like, I want to use this one design element, and it just starts turning up in all your stuff, and you feel like you start seeing it everywhere.
Yeah, it's blue car syndrome, you know?
Yes. So those were just some things that I've seen recently that that have tickled my fancy.
I want to share one because you got me doing this now too.
I'm taking no responsibility for that.
Crystal, this is all Crystal's fault because I started doing it too. So I am watching a show on Dimension 20 called Burrow's End. And like you said, I'm into
I feel
that
like
show.
she's being deliberately subtle. It's people playing Dungeons and Dragons, and she be watching them. It's wild. And it goes on for like hours. It's wild.
And I'm wearing my Dungeons and Dragons t-shirt. Really? Okay. I see you gonna do me like that. Just put me out on Front
Because
Street.
gonna go look like, oh, Burrow's End. Because when she said a show, you might be thinking, oh, here's a script and here's the plot. No. Just be prepared. If
It's
that's
an
your thing, that's
actual
cool.
play Dungeons and Dragons show with a plot, and some of it is scripted. There's a script somewhere.
So back to your little
Anyway,
item.
One of the characters, they're playing Stoats, by the way. He was wearing this really cool, once again, it's a polo shirt, so I might make it a t-shirt. But I love that it had almost a pattern that I'm interpreting as a mosaic pattern on the front, like on the square of the shirt. And then the rest of it was solid. And it's really got 4 colors because the collar and placket are blue, and the rest of the shirt is burgundy, like the shoulders, the back, and the sleeves. And then it's got this all over pattern on the front. And I was like, I really just couldn't take my eyes off the shirt. And like you said, it pulled me out of my story. Story is very compelling, by the way. So I think I'm gonna try to figure out a way to use this idea.
What I like about that is that you can use a pattern, but then size it to anything you want.
Exactly.
Because you're just going to make your rectangle bigger or smaller based on what you need, but you don't have to worry about the pattern hitting the seam or, if you're doing bust adjustments or whatever, because your pattern is all contained in that little rectangle. That is a cute idea.
And the neat thing you could do with this too, so that you can just make even though this has a split in the collar, you can just knit that, create a steek, and cut it so that your pattern is
cut somebody knitting.
Your pattern is but your pattern can be completely uninterrupted because you put that steek in. And I could still have that that round collar.
I'm not up to steeking yet. I have a book that mentions steeking for crochet for the first time, and I was just like,
I can see you season up. She actually seasoned up a little bit.
But yeah, I'm not up to steeking, but one imagines you could do that if you were that kind of person.
Wow. Wow. But I could see it, see it really working well. And I loved how the colors are combined. I was just like, oh.
So just go ahead and create a little folder for yourself. I have one called Crochet Inspo, and I just drop all those pictures in there.
Yeah.
Because it's going to happen again.
It's
a very slippery slope.
It's been happening. It's been happening.
It is a very slippery slope.
I blame you entirely.
You mean you thank me?
I have one final one. This is from the Chanel Jag I've been on. So this is from their fashion show that was on YouTube. But I love how all the different patterns are being combined. It's all the same colors, but they change the direction. And it's all like a square pattern, basically. But they changed the direction of the pattern. And I was like, that's a clever idea.
So you planning on like a little 3-piece set? Yeah?
I am. Mm-hmm. That's going to be my over the winter project.
Yeah. Okay, that's not my fault. That's Chanel's fault, damn it.
That is Chanel's fault. I blame you, Chanel. I blame you. But I love it. And this jacket was kind of like my gateway into that, because now I can more confidently add a lining if I want to. I know how to make the back of the jacket sit down if I wanted to. Pockets in everything. I felt like I was striking a blow against the patriarchy.
Oh my God. It's your anti-patriarchy pocket.
It's my anti-patriarchy pocket. That's right.
But you will see, it'll happen to you. You'll be watching something and be really into it. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, but wait, what's she wearing? Like, oh, but look at that scarf. Oh, like, oh, I can make that. That's what hits me. Like,
yeah,
I can make that. So we should do a post on Instagram.
Yes.
And we'll show some of the pictures there too. Because it's like a sickness almost. Like, I can't stop myself. It's crazy.
I'm always thinking about, like, wait a minute. I see how that could work.
You know what's bad though? Like, sometimes, like, I'll see stuff on people in the street. And I just want to be like,
you just take a sneaky.
It's like I can't turn it off.
And then what's freakier? Taking a picture of a person for some freaky reason, or having to explain to them when they come over.
Like, I'm a crocheter.
I knit, and I think this thing you're wearing is so cool.
Like, can I see the back?
Yeah.
I haven't been that bold yet, but let me tell y'all.
You think about it.
I do. But yeah, that's all that's going on with us. Thanksgiving was lovely.
I
ate.
And then we ate some more. I did my turkey a different way than I've ever done it before. I did my turkey in pieces, and I cannot recommend it more. It was easy to store in the fridge. I brined it in pieces, and then I was able to pull each piece out of the oven as soon as it was done. So no moist thighs and dry breast. Yeah. I didn't hear that till after I said it. I should have thought about that a little bit, but okay. But I found a video on YouTube where the guy talked about how to do it, and I followed his instructions to the letter, and I'll send you a link to it so you can put it in the show notes. That's how I'm doing my turkey from now on. We literally ate every scrap of the turkey, and we're people who don't eat a whole turkey. We
weren't even going to buy a turkey this year.
Yeah, we were.
What had happened was, now we have lived here for years, and he's never done this before, but our next door neighbor decided to hand out, like, down the street, these boxes of food for some reason, and they included a turkey. So I had just talked Lisa out of buying a turkey. He's like, we don't need a whole turkey. And then a turkey literally showed up on our doorstep.
Yeah, it literally showed up on our doorstep.
So we had a turkey, but we didn't need a turkey because we still had so much food. And then on top of all that food, we ate a turkey too. Don't judge us. Don't judge us. Overeating is how this holiday is celebrated, okay?
But there are 0 leftovers. There was no turkey soup. There were no turkey sandwiches.
Yeah, no soup.
That's because we ate the whole thing.
We did.
Okay, I mean, it wasn't like, somebody came and stole our turkey. But if you give it a try, let us know, because it fit in the oven. Remember that one time we got a turkey so big it didn't fit in our oven?
I don't remember that. I probably hid.
It was nerve-wracking.
I don't do the meats. I do sides. I do appetizers. I made a punch this year, but I don't do the meats.
She says next year she's trying the meats.
That's
what you said.
The ham, not turkey. Turkey is your thing. I don't even think I could cut it apart.
You use a knife.
Mm. That's the theory.
I understand your concept. Huh?
But yeah, Thanksgiving was lovely. It was actually quite restful, and I didn't do no Black Friday shop. I did not go to a single store.
Nope.
I stayed in my house. But on Sunday, I did go online and got most of my Christmas shopping out of the way. And now stuff is just arriving, and I just have to wrap it. And I feel like it's not supposed to be this easy. But I'm chilling.
Procrastinators of the world unite. It can be better.
Mm.
Okay, it can really be better. Is that all for you?
Yeah, I think so.
Alrighty. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.
Stay stitching.